Hello everyone, this is AndresRestart, and today we are talking about how it's looking like we have some Nintendo Switch 2 revealed trailer details that have been leaked by a known insider on Family Boards. What are these details? What do they suggest? Well, that's what we're talking about today. But before going forward, let me take this moment to ask that if you do enjoy my content, to please subscribe and hit that notification bell, and if you're unsure, watch through this video and then decide. So this information from Family Boards is actually subject to moderation if I share it specifically, so I will not be doing so. However, this information is coming from the Marmalade on Family Boards, who's known to be someone who would have sources here. And this post has been shared from different outlets. It's been shared by Universe and Nintendo. It's been shared on Reddit. And what is being said is that the Pharrell Williams company is producing trailer music for the Switch to reveal alongside Sabrina Carpenter. So if you're not into these musicians, you might be a bit confused on what the implications might be. And I'm not going to pretend like I am an expert on these musicians either. However, I do know a little bit, and considering what's being done here, I'm actually kind of excited about what this might entail. So I won't actually play the song in this video because I'm running the risk of copyright issues, but if you listen to the song Happy, there is a point in the song around the 2-minute mark where they start clapping a lot, and I could almost see this being the end of the Switch 2 trailer. Think about how in Switch 1 it was all about that satisfying sound you hear when you do the Switch or when you put on the Joy-Cons. Given what we know about the Switch 2, we've been told from various different outlets over the year that the Joy-Cons will be connecting magnetically, and from what we've seen in the leaks, that seems to support all these different reports we've heard throughout the year. And so there's going to need to be some sort of satisfying sound when you attach the Joy-Cons to the tablet, or when you switch out the Switch 2 from the dock. And they might change the sound this time around, but it might be something similar. And I could see them adapting the song Happy, where we have all these claps, to maybe even be like the climax of the trailer, where you hear all these claps, all these different people together, and it just concludes in a very satisfying, exciting way. And just looking at the song, looking at the music video, the overall energy behind this doesn't feel too different from the overall vibe we had from the Switch 1 first look trailer. So I could really see how something like this might fit. Maybe they don't use the song Happy, maybe it's something else, but I can see something like this being put together and it making a lot of sense. Now, as for the Sabrina Carpenter element, she's already a known Nintendo fan. She has worked with Nintendo before, and actually, in her song Espresso, part of the lyrics reference the Nintendo Switch. Move it up, down, left, right, oh, switch it up like Nintendo. So, she's a fan, she's worked with Nintendo before, her being involved here, I mean, I think they could definitely get something going there that would be very cool, very exciting, and a lot of people would be interested in seeing here. So I actually like what I'm hearing from this leak. I think it could have some really nice implications for the first look trailer, and it does get me thinking a little bit more on what to expect here. And basically what I'm expecting is something very similar to the first look trailer for Switch 1. And so what I anticipate is that maybe there are a few celebrities in the actual trailer. We see them in certain areas, and not just celebrities, but just people in general, and we see them using the Switch 2 in different places. We see them implement this new sound effect to reflect the magnetic connection of the Joy-Cons throughout the trailer. And in these different moments, we see these different fans or celebrities playing different Nintendo Switch 2 games. Maybe a little bit of Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, maybe a little bit of the next Mario Kart, or the next new 3D Mario. But there's also got to be some moments where they start to show how this console is different from the Switch 1. And so there might be a little bit of a challenge there. I think one of the best ways you can do that is by showing off gameplay of games that just look visually impressive. And I don't think it should just be first-party Nintendo games like the ones I mentioned, but those would do a great job, but also show off some third-party games that people would not expect to see on the console. Elden Ring has been rumored as of late. That might be an ideal kind of game to showcase there. Or perhaps finally Call of Duty, something that we know should be coming to the Switch 2 because there's a literal public contractual agreement between Nintendo and Microsoft to bring Call of Duty to Nintendo for the next 10 years or so. So something like that showing up would also say a lot because we have not seen Call of Duty at all on the Nintendo Switch. Showing games that just look visually impressive far more than what we saw on Switch 1. Showing third-party games that we would never expect to see on Switch 1, that would go a long ways. As I've brought up a couple of times already, emphasizing that magnetic attachment, that would also help as well, to further help to identify the differences between Switch 1 and Switch 2, but I think they would have to go a bit beyond that as well. There's likely going to be some feature differences between Switch 1 and Switch 2. We're still not sure what that C button is supposed to be for. Maybe they showcased that a little bit during this first look trailer. And they may also want to highlight the improvements with the screen. Now, reportedly, this console is going to be using an LCD screen as opposed to an OLED, which I understand there are a lot of people out there that might be disappointed to hear that. However, please keep in mind that there is quite a spectrum when it comes to LCD technology, and the last time Nintendo used an LCD for a Switch was many years ago. What we might see now for Switch 2 might be something that could help to bridge the gap between the quality of OLEDs and LCDs by a significant degree. If we also take into account that this screen is also reportedly going to be significantly larger at 8 inches as opposed to 6.2 or 7 on the OLED, and be 1080p as opposed to 720p, I think overall most people might find themselves thinking that the Switch 2 screen is a substantial improvement over even the Switch OLED screen. And this is something they may want to highlight in this first look trailer, which actually has me pivoting a little bit here, because the more I think about it, yes, there's going to be elements that need to be very similar to the Switch 1 first look trailer, but also I think they might have to take some ideas from the OLED trailer as well, because something that the OLED trailer did was showcase the console in different environments similar to the original Switch trailer, but also they highlighted some of the improvements of the Switch OLED, not just the OLED screen, but also the kickstand. And from what we've heard of the kickstand this time around, it is different from even the OLED one. It's more of a U-shape now. They may want to show that off, among other little subtle, interesting features. And so the more and more I think about it, I don't think this trailer is going to be exactly like the first look trailer. I think it's going to be very similar to the Switch 1 trailer, but I think elements of the OLED trailer would also make sense. Something that's a little bit of a mix here. And something else to keep in mind here is the target audience. The Pharrell Williams Company has a great deal of variety with their musical offerings, and they've worked with a lot of kids' movies before. And so you might look at that work and you might grow concerned at the direction they might take this trailer. Because I don't think it would be a good idea to target children, people under 10 years old or under 15 years old, for the first look at Switch 2. I think that would actually be a terrible idea, and we'd be heading in more of a Wii U direction if they started branding things in that way. I think ultimately, no matter what happens, the Switch 2 is going to be far more successful than the Wii U, even if Nintendo screws up the marketing. But I think what they need to do is emulate how they handled things with Switch 1. That first look trailer for Switch 1 was clearly being marketed for people in their 20s and 30s and so on, more of an adult audience. The audiences that grew up with Nintendo over the last several generations. Basically Nintendo's hardcore audience. The people that are going to be interested in buying a Switch 2 in that first year. So I think Nintendo actually hit it out of the park with the target audience of Switch 1 with all their marketing in the beginning. And then as the generation panned out, they started to reach out to some of the other audiences, such as children, which Nintendo historically has been known to appeal to. So I have some level of concern here going into the Switch 2 first look trailer, because if they do target children, I think this would be a bad start. This would be appealing to the wrong audience here, and it would be showing that Nintendo wouldn't be quite aware of what's going to make things work. But I don't think that's what's actually going to happen. I think Nintendo likely will emulate the success of Switch 1. They will look at all the different things they did that led to that success. Appealing to your core audience is going to buy the console at first. That way you can drill up that many consoles, which we've heard will be a lot at launch, 6 to 8 million. I assume that wouldn't all come out day one, by the way, but within that first month or so, they're looking to have a very large amount of systems out there very early. But then beyond that, have a consistent lineup of games that are coming out month by month by month, which also we'd want to showcase in that first look trailer, at least some of them, so people know what's on the horizon throughout the first year. And then have a console that is branded as literally the Switch 2, as we've discussed in prior videos already, but it very clearly shows how this is a next generation, a true evolution that offers new experiences that you could not get on Switch 1, like Elden Ring, like Call of Duty, like the next 3D Mario, like the next Mario Kart. These need to be key moments in that Switch 2 trailer. You do all of these things, you showcase how the system is an improvement, the games it can play, and it's targeting the appropriate audience that will buy the console early on. That's going to be a successful first look trailer. And from what we're hearing so far, I think we could be headed in the right direction here, but of course, only time will truly tell. But what do you all think? Let me know in the comments below. This is AndresRestart. Thank you so much for listening and watching, and I'll see you all really soon. Take care. Bye.